shines like an angel. She's my model, A Mabel.
Okay, let's do a brief recap. I was turned into a disco chicken trying to solve the electrical blackouts and the soft restarts. Hey, my granddaughter in Colorado loved my dance. Last year when my wife and I came for a visit, I got the bestest hug from her ever. It was so touching that I wrote a song about it. I will leave a link to it in the description below. Okay, back to Mabel. Remember the two things that was said to me when I purchased Mabel was that it was important to keep the battery charger on her, and recently a battery shutoff switch was added. Since the auto store said the battery was good, I began to wonder what could be causing these problems. Okay, now what? Could it be that the newly installed battery switch had anything to do with it? I measured it in an open and closed position, and it measured fine. The positive ground cable did go to the back end of the frame. However, I discovered the original braided positive ground connection was on the cross member and had an electrical braid going to the engine in addition. The braiding you see on this battery and the red terminal were originally reversed. Once again, here is a shot of the braid ground strap going to the crossmember frame and to the engine. Once I return this back to the original grounding placement, the blackouts have since stopped. Yes, imagine that. But why? Well, here's my hypothesis. With the addition of the battery switch, somehow there is a resistance in the path. How could that be? First, could the metal used with the Model A Ford frames have an unusually high resistance due to impurities, as well as having high temperature coefficients? Nah, I think that is a low probability. Could it be the frames were constructed differently than frames during my era? I searched on the internet for Model A Ford frame diagram and construction techniques. And well, let's just say internet search engines nowadays is like getting corn soup filled with vegetables. You only want corn, yet you look and all you see is vegetables. Here's where the internet fails. Search engines just push you to business and other popular sites. Back in the 1990s, it was easy to find information as a search engine actually searched what you inquired about. Now, okay, let's just say it's time to get out of that spider beehive. Additionally, what I could find in blogs were just endless contradictions as to what the original chassis construction was. I know the correct information was in there, but how do you distinguish it from the weeds? Okay, time to break away from the spaghetti monster and think for myself. What do I do? Well, old body rust. The answer is obvious. I can just look at Mabel's chassis and see how it was made. What a concept! Here's what I found looking at Mabel's chassis. Her frame is riveted. Maybe during the lifetime of a lot of Model A Ford chassis with 90 plus years on them, well, they have been welded. Like for gotta fix her up reasons. I don't know. I only know that Mabel is riveted. Okay, let me show you a diagram of a Model A Ford chassis. Where do I find one? The internet has given me vegetables when I only want corn. Wait, I know exactly where to look. The Model A Ford Owner's Manual. And amazing! Look here, dead center of the Owner's Manual is a Model A Ford chassis diagram. Imagine that! 90 plus years later, Henry and Edsel are still coming through for you. Okay, now let's take a closer look. The crossmember by the engine appears to be riveted to the chassis that follows the driver's side of the Model A Ford frame. I do not know why the positive ground battery cable wasn't placed back to the same original grounding point. But now it appears to me that resistance could exist at the rivets, and or the type of metal used, with a higher resistance per foot than metal now. Well, I never found an answer on the metal while making this video, so if someone knows, I would like to hear it. Nevertheless, I disconnected the positive cable of the newly installed battery switch and went back to what appears to be the original positive grounding location. After doing this, I have not experienced any electrical blackouts since. I have collected enough data points now to have a reasonable confidence level that this problem is solved. But the sluggish starts and very poor restarts still remain. I decided to test my nerves and take Mabel to the gas station and wonder if she would restart. I have done some restarts at home after the positive ground back to the crossmember, and it always restarted, but barely. That is when I made my video titled, "Get 'em Gas, Will She Restart?" Well, she did. Barely. However, the next day when I went out to start her, there was nothing. Oh, body rust. I had left the ignition on all night. I can't repeat the chastising I gave myself. I checked the battery voltage and it was only 3.2 volts. I pulled the battery out again and took it to get recharged at the auto store, as my battery charger, as always, would not charge it. However, this time they came back with a different result than before. This time they said the battery was bad. I looked at the time date of the old battery and it showed 3 years and 3 months old. I replaced that battery with another Optima red top 6-volt battery. The battery is just below the floorboard of the driver's lower legs. What a pain in the old nose ring that was to remove and replace. In a previous video I referred to Henry and Edsel as heroes to aspire to, and I had a few spits in my cup about that. Now maybe the egg basket battery placement is difficult to hatch open for service, but I do suspect it's due to automotive evolution from crank starts to electric starts. The older designs didn't concern itself with battery space. Guess what? I haven't had any starting problems since this change. The battery measures a same 6.12 volts, and now I have several data points of strong starts and strong restarts, although the restarts still sound slightly less strong than when cold. But then again, never any nail biters. Yet. So, time will tell if this new Optima battery red top will do the trick. But my confidence level just went up a notch. So, the problem was multifaceted. Frame resistance, weak battery, but I did become a good disco dancer. As a reminder, I'm no expert, still an encased egg trying to hatch. What is with these egg references today? Anyhoot, maybe I fixed it. Maybe it was due to something outside my vision. Or it may all pop back to bite my keister again. Only time will tell. Thank you for watching Model A Mabel. Hit that like button, subscribe if you already haven't, thank you if you have, and welcome to the Model A Mabel neighborhood.